Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villian Report, and Red Zone Range. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla Hour, Broseph Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and MM-Maniacs. The nightly shows are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports, Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle Podcast, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, Off the Rails, and Detroit Lions News. Hope you like all the shows. Make sure you follow, like, share.
Hey, my name is Ray Flores. I'm a proud and loyal member of the First and 10 Tailgate. You are listening to First and 10 with my man, the main man, Foz.
First and 10 with Foz, Chicago Bears in the mix. Rapping about football, no room for politics. From the Windy City, we bring the fire. This podcast hot, raising the bar higher. Touchdown after touchdown, we never settle for less. Breaking it down with Foz, we always bring our best. First and 10 with Foz, dance in the crowd, cheering loud and proud. Our spirits never bow. We rep that navy, blue and orange, no room for doubt. Chicago Bears legendary, no team can knock us out. No team can knock us out.
When I'm in Chicago, always the Foz.
Full display. Hitting hard like a linebacker, making our way. Foz leading the charge, taking us to the top. Chicago Bears legacy, we can never stop.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Season 2 finale of First and 10 with Foz. I'm your boy Foz, as you know, here with my guy Maxwell. Maxwell, how we doing tonight, sir?
I've got this new chair. I'm doing great.
It's getting fancy.
Season's over. This is great.
Little early upgrades for next year, everyone. Hope you're enjoying. We got some Joe Rogan mics coming. I mean, we got some amps coming. I mean, it's getting fucking serious, brother.
They go 5 and 12, and you do great. So
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. One man's loss is another man's gain. All right. Hey, Maxwell, remember that time that the Bears beat the Packers?
I do.
That was awesome. What a way to go out. We'll get into it tonight, though. Everyone, Bedrocks, sponsored by Bedrocks. They're in the background now. Love them. Ken's the best. Bedrocks Bar and Grill in Shorewood and Romeoville.
Bedrocks Pizza, the place to be. Hard rock tunes and craft beers for the crowd is roaring. The atmosphere's hot. We'll party hard. Give it all we've got. This place is our sanctuary. Shout it aloud, let the music play. Bedrocks Pizza, we're here to stay. Good times and memories never before. Under the neon lights, we're all stars.
It's been a few weeks, Maxwell. It's been a few weeks, and I'm not sure if you guys noticed or not. I missed you. Don't know if you missed us, but me and Maxwell has had a conversation. It's like, what are we even going to talk about at this point? I mean, we're on a 10, 11 game losing
very
streak.
rinse and repeat every episode.
What are we going to do? Come on every week and be like, the Bears, they suck again, and we need a new coach. And it's like, we're just going to repeat that week after week. So we decided that we're not going to waste your time or our time just repeating the same old bullshit week after week, because it was a pretty bare drought there for those 11 games.
Yeah,
my friend.
I didn't want to watch the games, let alone have to fucking talk about them afterwards. And I didn't watch most of one of them, so I'm glad.
We like to give you the meat and the little bit of potatoes, but there was no meat and no potatoes to even talk about with those games. So we decided we're just going to do a season finale show and just put this one in the rear view and let's move forward. Everybody. So the last games we did not talk about or do a podcast about was the second Bears-Lions game in which we just got stomped 34-17.
Sure.
Offensive problems. The Seahawks game, which is obviously
I only watched about half of that game.
the worst game ever. I've seen hockey games higher, 6-3.
There were White Sox games higher scoring this year.
Exactly. And then just at the end of the game, going forward on 4th and 10, not trying the field goal with Santos was probably the most memorable part of that game. But we move forward, and then we come to the season finale.
Yeah, and it
with
went
the
exactly as we all
Packers.
expected.
Exactly as we all expected. Not. I don't care. Anyone who's watching this show right now, when the fourth quarter came, everyone was just sitting there saying, how are they going to blow this?
Oh, yeah.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Are they going to turn it over? Are they going to let the clock run out? Are we going to end the game with the second blocked field goal against Green Bay? That's what I was going for because miracles happen with the Bears.
We
so.
texted each other. My thought was he'll miss it by 10 yards.
Yeah. And then miraculously, well, actually, let's backtrack a little bit. When DJ Moore coughed up the ball, I thought that was it right there. I'm like, they're not getting the ball back. End of the game.
It was perfect.
That was the icing. That was the last birthday cake being blown out right there.
It was absolutely perfect.
I thought that was it. I'm like, okay, end of the season. The torture's over with. But then we got the ball back, and dude, Caleb, Mr. Fourth Quarter comeback guy, he does nothing the entire game, struggles the entire game, but when you put that kid in that 2-minute drill, dude, and at the end of the game, something's on the line, he takes it to another notch.
Yeah.
He needs to keep it at that notch during the entire game. I think that's where his major learning curve is. But
maybe by that point, it's more on the fly kind of play calling. So maybe he just is better in that environment.
Oh, dude, we definitely were doing the old screen pass, the old Lovie Smith offense.
There was a lot of that throughout the beginning of that game, no doubt about it.
Yeah, so. But we ended the season on the high note. We are 1-0 in 2025. So
it's like I know I've read too.
You sound like a Cubs fan now, man. So,
well, at least if there is two good things. Caleb at least got to have a fourth quarter comeback, and especially against the Packers in Green Bay. So the season sucked as a whole. We all know that, but at least there was like a small sliver of like a burning star. And then also. You weren't really like it isn't like if we lost, we're gonna get the number 2 draft pick anyway.
Exactly.
So also, we didn't have to hear all off season how they haven't won since October when the new season starts.
Exactly.
So, fine, okay, maybe they screwed themselves by 2 draft picks, but they probably picked the wrong person anyway, so it didn't matter.
We went into the season with zero plans of having a top first-round pick anyway.
100%.
So again, the fact that we're landing in the top 10 again this year is very. Not in the plan of what this year was supposed to be anyways. So
on that point, think about it. We had a horrific season. We were only the 10th worst team in the NFL by record.
Oh, dude. A third of the NFL is hurting. Dude.
Disaster.
It's a complete disaster, a complete shit show. And you're seeing the teams with very rich ownership are the ones on top. And you're seeing the lower teams, the expansion teams, the smaller teams.
Yeah.
Not doing anything, not being able to compete with some of these higher salary teams.
As bad as we were, and this was, well, we're going to get into the season, I know, but this is as bad as the season I've ever seen. It always could be worse, and that's just crazy to think about.
Could be the Giants,
who kept their coach and GM after going 3-14 and not even get the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
we could be. Could be the Jaguars.
Could be the Jaguars. Could be the Giants.
Titans.
Panthers.
Hey, the Panthers thing, Bryce Young actually kind of looks like he might.
Came around at the end.
He played really well at the end of the season.
Yeah,
so, and I'll tell you what, they only have 1 less win than we did.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's a team that was trying to not be good and hoping their quarterback is good. We had playoff hopes.
So 2 years ago, we tried to lose every game, and we won 3 games.
Yeah.
This year, we're trying to compete and go to the playoffs.
Our GM said a playoff team.
And we win 1 more game than the games we were trying to lose the entire season for the first round pick.
Stunning. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into Ryan Poles here in the whole season, but stunning that you could have that long of a losing streak throughout the entire season. Again, you couldn't luck into a win in there somewhere. It's stunning. It's really stunning.
The Bears always find brand new ways to amaze me.
Mm-hmm.
Each week. It's almost weekly.
Yes, it is.
I don't even know why I don't expect it or how I don't see it coming by this point. But they always just find some way to sweep the carpet off from underneath my feet and just, what is this? Like,
It was a shocking season of it. I mean, there were how many countless games and moments where, like, you look back in the season, there wasn't many good moments throughout the whole year. I mean, okay, they at the end they won the Packers game, great for them, but I mean, that almost was a DJ Moore cough up and then a bad penalty before that, and it's like, holy cow.
So when we took the lead in the Packers game 14-13, that was the first time we led in a game since.
It was October, wasn't it?
No, since November.
Yeah, that's right.
Since the Lions game.
Yeah.
That was the first time we led since the
Stunning.
Lions.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's something to be said.
Yeah, by the
And then-
futility of the season.
2018 was the last time we beat the Packers.
That's even more stunning.
Yeah, so 6 years.
And really, we should have beat them twice this year. I mean, by just a blocked field goal at the end of the season. I granted, I know you take one play away, you win. I get that. It's the old Dave Wanstead thing. But, I mean, a fluke thing at the end of the game,
Yeah.
we should have swept them this year. I don't think the Packers team was that great this year. And I don't think they're destined for anything other than one more game than the Bears.
Definitely not. Fly Eagles fly is all I say right now. And I don't like the Eagles, but fly
No,
Eagles
they're
fly
going to
right now.
definitely beat them.
So the Bears finished the season 5-12, which included such memories as Hail Mary ended the Commanders, a blocked field goal from Green Bay like we were just talking about, overtime loss to the Vikings, and let's not forget letting the time run out on Thanksgiving Day.
The Arizona Cardinals won at the end of the half when they were just trying to get a yard, and they got a 53-yard touchdown run because all our defense just decided to lay down and go to the locker room.
Yeah, the ghost in the closet. The closet is full
It's
of
stunning.
ghosts.
It's
for
amazing.
sure. Yeah, all leading to an 11-game losing streak going into the final week, which we finally beat the Packers, man, after 6 years. And like I said, first time we led in a game, and since the Detroit game on Thanksgiving, and we are 1-0 in 2025.
Great. It's great.
We gotta stay positive, people. We gotta
great.
stay positive. Maxwell, I'm interested to hear your opinions on this. I mean, because I kind of put together players on the team I felt, regardless of the team, regardless of the record, individual players' performances, who did well this year. And,
Sure.
I'm going to start with the most controversial one, which people are probably going to have their opinions about. But I'm going to say Caleb Williams, dude. Caleb Williams, rookie year. You came into an organization, number 1 draft pick. Halfway through the season, you've lost your offensive coordinator. You've lost your head coach. The team's in the dumpster fire. Injuries up the wazoo. You have no offensive line. God, let's keep on going down the line. Keenan Allen was injured like half this season.
Didn't play good for the other half. Yeah.
Didn't play good for the other half. You had no running game pretty much the entire season. I mean,
No.
bad play calling. I mean, this kid had everything against him.
It's borderline sabotage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, when you compare what he ended the year-wise, stats-wise, he had a better season than old rookie of the year from Houston last year. He had almost the same numbers as Jaden Daniels. I mean, so the kid individually put up a good performance.
Yeah.
Obviously, minus the 70 sacks on him.
Yeah.
But again, those higher sack numbers led to a lot lower interception numbers than if he would have just threw the ball up in the air and didn't give a shit and try to make something happen.
Sure, and I think it's just his nature. I think it's just him. He doesn't. He very much tries not to turn the ball over, which I know some people have said maybe isn't a good thing either. But no, I think he's the dude. I didn't see
My
anything-
boy Habibi, and he started every game.
Didn't get hurt. He
Didn't get
took a
hurt.
fucking beating all year. So say what you want about him being a diva or this or that or Mr. Hollywood. Guy took a beating all year. Whether some of it's on him, 100%. We all agree. Guy never went out. Guy never missed. I don't think he missed a play other than when they took him out because he were getting stomped so bad in games. Guy's a tough dude, no doubt about it.
He is,
He
man.
showed. You saw flashes of what he can be. I think he showed enough to show that at least he's going to be a good quarterback. Is he going to be Patrick Mahomes or that? Let's not even compare it to that. Is he going to just be a really excellent player? I think the potential is there. The Bears just have to stop shooting him in the head and themselves in the foot constantly. They need to get him. The number one priority for hiring a coach is how are you going to make Caleb Williams as good as he can possibly be? That's it. That's as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, we're going to get into the coach
No, I know.
situation here.
But
sure.
as a whole, Caleb Williams, I thought he was good. I thought he was a rookie quarterback who made rookie mistakes, but he showed more flashes of good than any quarterback I've seen in a Chicago Bears uniform in my memory.
I think he would have had a one-of-a-kind, never happened before, memorable rookie year if the team around him was a different team.
And the coaching, yeah.
Yeah, meaning
Yeah,
coaching.
okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
different organization, different coaching, different play calling, a strong
Yeah,
offensive
look
line.
at Bo Nix. I mean, listen, he made some nice plays. I've been watching a lot of the Denver games, but I haven't seen in him where he's going to be some kind of transcendent talent. He's in a great system with a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels. He's in with Dan Quinn is a damn good coach, and Cliff Kingsbury's a good offensive coordinator. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, let's just be honest and realistic with our feet on the ground. Who expects a rookie quarterback, no matter how good they are, I mean, minus Patrick Mahomes, who's a fucking phenom, to come in their first year and you expect him, what, to go deep into the playoffs and do a Super Bowl? Even if he does have the potential to be as good as Patrick Mahomes, like, this is the Bears organization. You got to keep your feet on the ground. Anyone who went into this season thinking that he's taking us to the glory the first year, it's not going to happen.
No, but I think some of the Bears organization thought it was going to happen because they seemed to not put a lot of money into
Well,
other.
they also thought they had a good coach. They thought they had a
Yeah,
good
no, I know.
offensive coordinator.
But they figured that number one draft pick is so transcendent he would just deodorize the whole organization.
Yeah, well,
So,
I
but
don't
no,
think that's-
I agree with you 100%. Like you,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, rookie quarterbacks don't take teams to Super Bowls. I mean, yeah, if we had the '85 Bears and plucked him in there, sure.
Sure.
Or the 2000 Ravens or whatever. No, of course not. Like that was silly fool's gold anyway. That the Bears kind of somewhat did it to themselves though too, for making people think that. So
Again, like, the biggest thing was protect the asset, and that's what we talked about going into
Yes.
this year the most was protect Caleb Williams. You're invested in him as your number one pick. You need to make sure that you have the best upfront offensive line,
Yeah.
giving this kid a chance to succeed.
Yeah.
And we 100% failed there.
100% failure.
I'm going into this offseason right now wanting to get rid of 4 out of the 5 offensive line.
Not wanting to, you have to.
Yeah, Darnell Wright's the only keeper in my book.
Yeah, and I think the jury's even still. I mean, I think he's without a doubt the best offensive lineman. So don't
Yeah.
confuse what I'm saying here. But like, is he great? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I'd like to see him next to some offensive linemen that are good. We think he's good.
I think he's really good.
I think
He'd
so.
Be great with better people next to him.
That would be nice. It would be nice. Really, what you need is a center and an excellent left tackle.
Yeah.
You can make do with two guards being okay. Like,
Sure.
you know, whoever. It doesn't matter.
I'm done with Tevin Jenkins. I'm done with
Yeah,
Braxton
he's gone.
Jones.
He's gone. Braxton Jones will still be here, but hopefully he'll be your swing man. Your number 6 or 7
yeah.
guy.
That's fine, but we really need to focus on not only having a coach who's going to be offensive minded towards Caleb, but who knows to bring in the big galoots to fucking protect the kid out there.
Yeah, so hopefully the GM gets that message too.
Yeah. How does the offensive coach still have a job as of today under Eberflus? He's like the only coach in the entire organization who hasn't got fired from the beginning
Yeah.
of Flus' tenure till now. Like,
Well,
it
I
just
mean-
blows my mind. Like, how
No,
that
I'm
guy
with
has a
you. I mean,
job.
the good news is every one of these guys is canned. So, I mean, it haven't announced yet because they haven't hired a coach yet. But, I mean, these guys are all gone.
Big Boogie's got it. They're traffic cones, baby. They're traffic cones.
yes.
And people are just driving right
Yes,
over
they
them.
are. The old subway turnstiles.
Yeah. Even versus the Packers, dude, where that linebacker came in completely untouched and Caleb had to do the duck and the dive and
Yeah.
get outside the DJ Moore, which
I think Larry
was
Bo-
a phenomenal play.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a lot more athletic than I thought he was,
Yeah.
too, Caleb. He's extremely athletic.
Way too many linebackers and defensive linemen coming through untouched
Yes.
this season.
A lot
Way
of guys
too many.
blocking error a lot of the time.
Yeah. Rebuilding since 85, brother. Rebuilding since 85. So, Caleb Williams, I know everyone has their opinion on him. I think overall did fantastic. That's our
Optimistic.
opinion.
Which is-
Number 2 on my list, one of the bright spots, was DJ Moore. DJ Moore was the most solid go-to receiver in the entire team this year. He peaked over 1,000 yards this season catching. Did he catch some attitude and have some personal
Yes.
stuff throughout the season with frustration? 100%, I agree. But again, he came out there with the expectations that we came out there with this year, thinking that
Yeah.
we have a winning squad. He just signed a long-term contract. He wants to go out there. He wants to win. I mean,
I get it.
frustrations got the better of him a lot this year, which
Yeah.
I was not happy to see. But overall, I never really saw it affect his overall performance. He still stayed in the game. He worked with Caleb. And as the season progressed, he was Caleb's go-to the entire year.
Yeah, I think he had a fine season. Everything you mentioned, I agree with 100%. I'm sure he's frustrated because he's been dealing with bad teams and bad quarterbacks his entire career, and I'm sure he wants to produce a lot more than he's been producing too. Hopefully, the next coach can find a way not to just constantly throw him screens, and we could stretch him downfield a little more. I mean, I get it; he's a weapon with the ball in his hands, and I totally get that. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Sure.
But it seems like every game there's 10 times we're just throwing wide receiver screens
Yeah.
to him, and
Well,
it gets.
that's based upon our offensive line because
No, I know.
we can't stop the blitz.
No, I know, I get it.
So we got to dump it out
That's
so
just
fast.
what I'm saying. I
So,
hope
yeah,
for his
yeah.
sake that we get to see a more explosive version of DJ Moore next year with a different head coach that knows
Yeah.
what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. I would have liked to put Cole Kmet on this list. I did not.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
And it's not his fault. And that was the whole part I was going to get into. Cole Kmet's not on the list, and he should be because that's one hell of a tight end out there
Yeah.
that we did not utilize all year. We used him as a 6 offensive lineman,
Yeah.
as a blocker all year because our guys
Yeah.
couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
And, Cole Kmet out there in the middle of the zone, dude, is a weapon that we didn't utilize all year.
At all. Completely ridiculous that we did. And when we did, he was great, like always. And I'm glad you brought up tight end because the first free agent signing last year, if you remember, was we couldn't wait to. We backflipped out the door to go sign Gerald Everett.
Yeah.
That was the first thing we signed last year.
Dude, Gerald Everett with the Chargers, what a fucking beast, though, dude. So, like,
What was he this year?
I mean,
You couldn't find that guy.
Was it Gerald Everett?
No, I don't know. All I'm saying is you couldn't find that guy on Sunday.
I mean, the guy comes off a phenomenal season with the Chargers, a great organization, great coach, everything. Then, boom, comes to the Bears, and where's he at?
I'm just saying priorities. I mean, did we need another tight end, or maybe we should have used that money to go towards a offensive lineman?
Yeah, I
or-
mean, in hindsight,
Yeah.
you don't do anything that we did in the offseason.
No.
You don't get a running back. We don't draft a punter in the fourth
so
round.
The tight end position gets a fail for the whole season, for mostly on coaching, but just terrible. Yeah, completely terrible. We didn't utilize him the way we thought we were going to going into the season.
Now on the defensive side of the ball, you know who the number one man is.
Jalen Johnson.
Of course.
Yeah, sure.
He's the best, dude.
Yeah.
Lights out all season, dude. Sorry to see him go out injured in the Packers game.
Mm-hmm.
Gave the crowd a little finger on the way out, though, so definitely love that. And after the game, still said, fuck the Packers. So.
Yeah, the guy you're going to mention next to, I agree, is definitely one also right there tied with him. Jalen Johnson's solid. He had some plays this year where it's like, what are you doing? But I get it. Listen, anyone that just gets their dicks kicked in 10 straight weeks,
Oh, my God.
you're just done. I mean, you're just packed in. And I listen to Jalen every week on the score. And he's a truth-telling dude, and I think he was just beat down and wore out. He's sick of this fucking losing. I don't blame him. He's a baller player. Make the Pro Bowl again. He's our only Pro Bowler. I'm sure he's just sick of it. It's human nature just probably pack it in at a certain point.
Well, he was talking about practice and being in the locker room, and he didn't name names, but he basically said that's what the majority of the team
That's on the
did
coaching.
do.
That's on the coaching of the GM
Yeah,
for
exactly.
not noticing that. Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that he was out there given even 95% when the rest of the team was probably given 50, 60.
Yeah.
Kudos to him, man. Shows what kind of guy he is. And,
100%.
he definitely focused on his individual stats this year, which I don't blame him. And he deserves his Pro Bowl, man. I can't wait to see him there.
Agreed.
He's a man, dude. I'm glad we extended him.
Agreed.
Glad he's going to be a long-time Bear.
100%.
Spider-Man. Kyler Gordon, baby. That kid is amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Biggest progression from the draft of all, in my opinion. That he goes out there, he kills it. He's all over the field. He's in the middle of every play. He's making phenomenally athletic plays. Great attention to the ball. He's all over it. Reads the defense. Reads the offense phenomenally.
He basically is a linebacker. I
Yeah.
mean, he plays the position that like Hunter Hillenmeyer used to play.
Yeah.
No, he's a stud. He's one person you don't ever have to worry about bringing effort.
Yeah.
That guy plays with his hair on fire every week, and not like out of control. He's totally in control. He's just he makes the defense hum. I mean, honestly, when you lose him for any length of time, you see how bad this defense gets quickly.
I don't know if it was during the Packers game or the Seahawks game. I can't remember, but the announcer just like he made an awesome play, and it was kind of like a pause for a second, and he just went, "He's an awesome football player," and they're like, "What are you?"
I think it was the Seattle game because that was I hear that like a Troy Aikman's voice or the other guy's voice.
And Troy Aikman went on a really good rant about Kyler Gordon. I totally agree with everything he said, and Kyler Gordon really progressed this year, and as long as that kid can stay healthy, man, he's a terror out there in the backfield.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Last but not least, Jervon Dexter Sr., man. He started out the season a lot better than he finished the season. But again, I don't think that has 100% to do with him. Defensive line, you need the guy to the left, to the right of you to get through, to get to the pass rush. But again, I think he did a phenomenal job. He made leaps and gains from his rookie year. And I'm looking forward to keeping him on the defensive line. Going forward.
I was hoping for more. A good season. He definitely improved at moments. They're asking him to do something I don't think he's naturally a fit for. The three technique and his defense.
Well, that's where he trained so hard in the offseason.
Yeah, I know, but
for.
just some guys just aren't meant for that position. Like that's not disrespectful to him.
No.
He should probably be the guy on the other end with Montez Sweat on the other side. So, I mean, a nice season. I wish they would just go out and sign the three technique and move them outside like they should. But whatever. A nice season.
Yeah. And then my sleeper pick, didn't expect much from him this year. Dude, Jonathan Owens on the defense had a pretty decent season.
At times.
He made some pretty memorable plays here on defense.
He did.
And, other than that, man, that was pretty much the bright spots I had.
I would just throw a couple more in there if you don't mind, quickly. TJ Edwards had another nice season at linebacker.
Sure.
Extremely reliable dude. Roma Dunze, I think, is going to be an absolute stud. When he finally gets his chance.
Him and Caleb are so out of sync right now, dude.
I think the best thing the Bears can do is let Keenan Allen walk this offseason and let Odunze be the number 2 guy. So you got Odunze and Moore are the two. Concentrate more on him. And one guy that we didn't mention that is kind of surprising we didn't because we shouldn't is Montez Sweat. He did not have a great season.
He did not. He was a major letdown this year. I was expecting way more out of him. I think everybody was.
Yeah, a game changer.
Yeah, he was a game changer.
They paid him game changer money.
Yeah, they did. And that year after the contract curse, my friend.
And I get it, like, I know people used to say about Khalil Mack too, he gets double team. Hey, man, you're getting paid all the money. So somebody else either should be freeing up and being a better player.
That's the other thing, though, dude. Like,
It's not all on him. I'm not saying it's on him.
Sure.
I'm not saying, but, at times you've got to break through at some point
Yeah.
and have a bigger season than he had. I'm sure he'd be the first guy to tell you that. But, that also speaks to Ryan Poles not building the defensive line good enough and hoping the guys you drafted in the 3rd and 4th round are going to pan out instead of maybe paying a guy that you should.
Yeah. Dude, I thought this was like going to be a wet dream season we were walking into.
We all did.
I think we talked about it like it's going to be hard to fuck this up. If I want to quote us what we were talking about, like it's going to be hard to fuck this season up. But they did.
In 4 months'
But they
time, really
did.
think about where we were about 4.5 months ago. We were as high on Ryan Poles as humanly possible. We all were buying in on Matt Eberflus. We figured Caleb was going to have an unbelievable season. Shocking, 4.5 months later. Shocking.
Yeah. Dude, back to Roma Dunze a little bit, though. Roma Dunze definitely has more than the potential to be that breakout wide receiver.
Absolutely.
Him and Caleb, though, dude, how many times did you see it and hear it? Overthrow, underthrow, ran the wrong pattern.
Yeah.
They're not in. There is zero in sync.
Yeah.
Now you saw when they were in sync, those few major plays.
Absolutely.
Like, they were game-changing plays.
Sure.
But dude, they have so much miscommunication happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the number one thing they need to work on this offseason is Caleb and Roma Dunze clicking, dude.
I agree.
They're on 2 different pages, and I was looking forward to Roma Dunze having like at least a 1,500-yard season.
I think we all were. His dad was too.
Yeah.
But I mean, you see the potential there, 100%. And I like that he didn't come out. I'm sure he could easily complain about this season. By all accounts, he's a dude that just puts his head down and works his ass off. So I hope next season that, like you, that those are the two him and Caleb just have an unbelievably explosive.
Yeah.
You watch Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And you can't help but think about, like, I'm not saying they're going to be those two guys, but their relationship together it's incredible when those guys play together.
They could close each other's eyes and still make it happen.
Absolutely.
They know what each other's going to do. They can look at each other and read each other and know what each other's thinking.
100%.
And that's the biggest thing about a quarterback and wide receiver because when you're out there in the field and he's scoping, you got to be able to connect and know what each other are going to do.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And they're far from that. This
Oh, very far.
So, hopefully they figure that out. But they're
rookies. So let's just,
rookies. They're rookies. Baby.
They're absolutely rookies.
Overall Bear problems, man. This is going to extend the episode by at least 10 minutes. 4 offensive linemen, new defensive end, probably a new defensive lineman altogether. And for personal reasons, dude, I am not a fan of Stevenson, dude.
Tyreek, yeah.
I don't care how well you play, dude. He acted like an idiot during the Commanders game, which obviously we all know was the turning point of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't much improve from that point going forward, dude.
No.
Even the last game versus the Packers, where they let that big pass up go into the red zone, he was behind the receiver.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, but then you're still out there talking shit.
Yeah.
Getting in fights, getting flags thrown, running your mouth. Like, dude, you're a 3-14 team.
Yeah.
Shut up, dude. Like, you suck, bro. You're fucking letting all these catches go by to score these points. Like, why are you out there with a chip on your shoulder acting like you're a badass? Like, just shut up.
Yeah, it was a disappointing season for Tyreek, and you really assumed he was going to be your number 2 guy behind
Yeah.
Kyler and Jalen. That's disturbing. The Bears do have a lot of depth there, so if they decide to
Yeah.
not stick with them,
I mean, the Bears talk about their culture all the time. The Bears.
No, I agree.
That dude is not part of the Bears culture if that's what they want to go for.
I like
So,
players with attitude. I think the Bears do lack that.
back it up, though.
No,
Yeah,
that's
back
exactly
it
what's
up.
going to be my next point. Like, I do think the Bears lack some of that swagger and kind of. I mean, I don't want a team full of guys like Terrell Owens in his peak, but like
Sure.
they do kind of lack the kind of swagger, talky.
Emotion?
Yeah, I don't want to put that on them. I guess I'm just looking for like a couple more hard ass guys that
Sure.
we don't seem like. Poles seems to draft like really nice guys, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the occasional fly in the ointment's a good thing, I think, for any team. But yeah, you got to back it up too. I mean, if you're gonna,
This is the NFL. This ain't the fucking Brady bunch. Like,
no, I agree with you. Yeah, that's another problem with the McCaskies. Anyway, that's we could just set the episode for 2 hours here. But yeah, it wasn't a good season for Tyreek. But I mean, he's still on a rookie contract, so I'm sure he's coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you mentioned a lot of things there, and like we figured going into this season, what are our problems? Maybe we need another offensive lineman and a defensive line. You start looking at it now with a magnifying glass. There's a lot of problems on this team that aren't all going to be able to be corrected.
But again, like, how many of those problems were happening because of players' effort and coaching?
I could tell you the offensive line, none, because they all suck.
I agree with you there.
Suck.
Everything else, though, aside from another defensive end, I could put everything else against effort and coaching decisions.
Maybe.
Because our linebacking core are.
I don't know, I got questions there with Edmonds. TJ Edwards for sure is a stud, but okay, Edmonds, we'll give that a pass. We'll just say that's fine. You just brought up Tyreek Stevenson. Is Jaquan Brisker going to be able to play at a high level? So you might need another secondary guy. Usually those guys don't fall off of trees in the third and fourth
Injury
round.
prone, especially with Brisker.
Fine, and I get that, but okay, that's another area you may need to look at. You definitely need another defensive lineman. There's absolutely no question. You need another pass rusher.
Yeah.
Straight up, they need to intensify that pass rush if they want to make Montez Sweat better and make Gervon Dexter better. And where the hell is Zach Pickens? He was drafted in the third round too. You don't ever see him. He had one good game and then he's ineligible the next week or not playing next week. Like you said, we need 4 offensive linemen, unquestioned. Like, so you start looking at draft picks, and you're not going to get these guys in the 7th round.
No.
So you've got 1 first rounder, 2 second rounders, and you've got positions of need in about 4 areas that all need starters.
Yeah.
The Bears don't seem to like to spend money on some of these areas. So, and now you're talking, you need to hit, not you need to draft these guys. These guys need to hit. Like, you can't have any misses.
Yeah.
That's not a thing that's going to happen.
Nope.
It starts to get a little scary.
It's very scary.
Okay, after DJ, okay, let's say Keenan Allen walks this season.
Yeah.
We're all assuming that's probably going to happen. We're not going to pay him $25 million. Who's your number 3 wide receiver?
Dude, Tyler Scott, man.
Well,
he's on the special teams all year.
Did you see
man.
his game against Green Bay
Yeah.
when he almost kneeled it coming out of the end zone at the 1 yard line, and then he had a penalty later in the game too? Maybe that's why he's not on the field ever.
Sure.
So name me your 3rd wide receiver. That's an
Yeah.
area you might need to go get a couple
Yeah.
guys. I mean, guys get hurt, so DJ Moore or Romadunze, name one, goes down all of a sudden. Now you got 1 wide receiver. You think you're fine at tight end, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. What the point I'm making is there's a lot more questions coming out of the season than we thought going in. We thought this roster was going to be really solid with 1 or 2 here. Next season we'll get a defensive lineman, offensive line in the draft. We're ready to go.
I mean, we're definitely going to have a whole nother show about free agency. And,
Definitely.
And the draft coming up. So as we get closer to that time point after this season, there's a lot to talk about in that
A
scenario.
lot more than we assumed, and that's not good.
Like, not good at all. And now, obviously, dude, we're replacing our head coach, our offensive coordinator, our defensive coordinator. We're going with a whole new triple squad.
Sure.
Going into the next year, my friends. So, not where we want it to be.
No?
A lot of coaches on the table, man.
I think a few too many.
A little few too many, but the Bears requested a lot.
I know,
though.
I know.
Not sure what their plan of analysis is, like asking this many coaches to come interview. I guess they're basically trying at every point to give everyone a chance because they don't want to fuck this up so bad.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I got from
I'm
this.
expecting them to call Jake Jaworski from Joliet Catholic and see if he wants to have an interview.
He might. But let's just kind of go through some of these
Sure.
coaches. We have the villain from The Mummy, Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator of the Arizona Cardinals, who, like we talked about earlier, the 11th overall offense
Yeah.
in the NFL.
I don't know anything about him. I'm not even going to pretend like I do.
Sure.
I like that he's offensive. If we're gonna, I'm leaning more towards an offensive guy.
Sure.
Unless there's a Mike Tomlin or a John Harbaugh out there, I want somebody that's going to Caleb number 1, everything else number 2.
Yeah.
Bring in a good culture, all those corporate speaks. But I want a guy that can develop Caleb to his highest ability.
Oh, I'm not a professional in the Cardinals. I try to watch as much other teams as I can.
No.
What I do know is the Cardinals have a very solid defense, not a bad defense whatsoever. They have Kyler Murray.
Who there was a lot of questions about and had
Kyler
a
Murray.
pretty solid season.
They have a very good tight end,
Mm-hmm.
and then they drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. in the first round
Mm-hmm.
last year. So, give that and James Conner as their running back, who's a very solid, heavy running back.
No doubt.
They're not in the playoffs this year.
No, I agree.
So, I mean, I'm not going to pretend I know everything about why or what happened or whatnot. All I know is the team they have, very similar status to the team that we currently have,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not in the playoffs this year. So,
Agreed.
for me, I would be pretty upset if we hire the villain from The Mummy.
Yeah, it reeks of kind of Matt Nagy era, like maybe a guy who's a little before his time, not ready for a head coaching position yet. But I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like I know who the hell he is.
Yeah, no Mega Mind. We're good to go. Todd Monken, offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens.
Intriguing. I mean, he's turned Lamar Jackson. I don't want to say turned Lamar, but he's helped Lamar Jackson reach extra heights that people, I mean, mostly didn't think was possible because no one wanted to offer him a contract with Baltimore into an MVP.
There's so much talent on that offense.
I'm not saying there's not, but do you remember
It's like,
when?
how much coordination does it need, like, to make you think, like who? Luke Getsy.
Yeah,
He was offensive coordinator for Aaron Rodgers.
sure.
You got fucking Aaron Rodgers. Like, who are you coordinating?
I agree. There's a lot of guys that are standing next to guys who are great,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you do remember when Lamar Jackson was a free agent, or he was on his last year of his deal, they told him to go find a deal somewhere. No one wanted to offer him a contract.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that wasn't in there and he couldn't, but I mean, this guy has definitely at least overseen him
Sure.
become a good player into an
He's
MVP
been there with
candidate.
him for sure.
So an intriguing position. I'm not saying he's my number 1 guy or anything like that, but an intriguing candidate. I wouldn't be like, if they hired him, I wouldn't say, oh my God, it's the worst hire ever.
Dude, is it bad? And I'll be honest with everyone. Like, I'm kind of like age discriminatory right now. I don't want anyone over 40 years old, dude.
I know what you're saying. I get
really
it. Yeah, I don't want a
I
Tony
really-
La Russa type
no.
hire. Like, yeah, I didn't want Belichick. I don't
Yeah.
want Pete Carroll necessarily.
All right, next on our list, Arthur Smith, the
Another
OC from Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
He's had head coaching experience.
Yeah,
He was head coach in Atlanta. Again, he's coming just like the last guy,
Sure.
Munkin,
Yeah.
comes from an excellent head coaching staff that knows how to run things. Again, this guy checks a lot of boxes. An offense that was given by all counts, a completely washed up Russell Wilson and a what the hell is Justin Fields, and they're a playoff team. I'm not saying that they're the Kansas City Chiefs or the Air Raid Rams of the early
Sure,
2000s,
sure.
but an intriguing candidate as well. I wouldn't be upset if he was one of the finalists or even the dude.
do you see Caleb Williams and this guy standing next to each other and like fist bumping and like chest bumping and like
I don't
hyping
know.
each other up?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm looking for. Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking for a coach who's a player's
Maybe.
coach, like Dan Campbell or John Harbaugh.
I don't know how old he is. I mean, he looks like a
I
younger
mean,
guy.
like, I don't know, like, again, I'm just being biased.
Well, I know who you're leading
Yeah,
towards, so I know
yeah.
who you want. So,
Yeah.
like, but again, an intriguing candidate that I wouldn't immediately poo-poo.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm okay with a couple candidates. We'll get into them. Mike Kafka
no.
from the Giants.
No.
Absolutely not.
No, I don't know.
Absolutely not.
By all accounts, from what I read, I saw this name last night. First off, I said, "Who the fuck is that?" Then I remembered
Yeah.
he's a former Northwestern quarterback. He's got some ties to Ryan Poles. So supposedly, this is just you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours to get your name floated out there. That's my understanding of it.
Sure, of course. Intriguing one here. Aaron Glenn from the Lions.
Yeah,
I like him. I
do
have no
too.
problems against him. I think he would be a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that this is the time for us, for any of these guys, to get a defensive-minded coach.
I'm leaning your direction. Yeah, I mean, he was very much on display and making the Vikings look like trash the other night on Sunday Night Football. Yeah, I'm 100% leaning towards offense only. I'm not saying completely shut the door on anybody.
Sure.
If this guy's got some unbelievable ideas or something, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is his defense has been a banged up bad defense for the last couple of weeks. Showed the hell out on Sunday Night Football. So, yeah, I don't necessarily want a defensive coach, but I'd keep an open mind.
So these last three that I have on the list, and again, this is just my opinion because it's my fucking show. But these last three on the list are the three I think stand the highest odds of getting the job. Two of them I'm okay with. One of them, fuck no, I'm not okay whatsoever. And we'll get into it. One of them is, Mike Vrabel.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Tennessee, the team, everyone was devastated when he was let go as a coach. Dude.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me he's a player's coach. That tells me he gets along with the team very well. He's personal. He's interactive.
Mm-hmm.
Again, coming from the Titans, they're obviously not a great team. But again, that type of coach, that kind of guy who's in your face, has that atmosphere that he brings to the locker room, that he's with the players. I definitely like his attitude towards everything.
I'm in between. He's a defensive guy. I heard him described by a lot of people as Caucasian Lovie Smith, as in he's a guy that's going to get you to a good team, but he may not be offensively inclined enough to get you to a great team.
Sure.
As a dude, I like him. I would be more, again, no different than Aaron Glenn we were just talking about. First of all, I think he's going to the Patriots 100%. So I think that's 100% happening first. I don't. It's not that I wouldn't want him. If like Ben Johnson and a couple of those other guys get hired and like he's like a fallback guy, I guess I'd be okay with it. But I want the Bears to hire a guy that I think could become Kevin O'Connell or Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Not the guy that's like screamy, talky guy that we understand is a good coach and he's going to bring his views and the locker room's going to listen to him and have respect for him, but maybe doesn't push you to the point of being greater.
Sure.
Just being very good.
Sure.
So he reeks to me of like a 10-7, 9-8 coach. Yeah. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, again, I think, like I said, I know. Is that what I like about him? I think
I like him as a dude. Don't get me wrong.
We have enough talent. I think maybe we just need a dude to kind of coordinate and bring it all together. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but I mean, what if Aaron Glenn's that guy then? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's the other thing. Like, that's the, we don't know who we're talking about this, but nobody really knows for sure what these guys are going to be
sure,
like. I guess we know what Mike Vrabel is as a head coach.
Yeah.
We know who he is.
And Mike Vrabel's probably going to the Patriots.
Likely, or now that the Raiders just fired their coach and Brady's all going to be influenced out there, I think he's going to one of those two places.
Sure. I didn't put Mike McCarthy on this list.
Oh, God.
And I didn't put Pete Carroll on this list because, dude, Mike McCarthy is not.
No, fuck off with that. If you're telling me it has to be one of those two, I'm taking Pete Carroll all day, every day. I don't want anywhere near Mike McCarthy.
The rumor is Dallas just denied the Bears an opportunity.
I don't know why he would. Why it's an easy out for Jerry if they're stupid enough to hire him. He's like, hey, we tried to talk to him, we didn't. I don't know why they would keep Mike McCarthy. I can't stand Mike McCarthy.
Dude, if they hire him, Mike McCarthy,
I'm done.
This is the series finale.
I am quitting the show. I'm not talking about the Bears anymore. I'm done. If they hire that idiot, I'll take any of these other guys we mentioned.
This is not the season finale. This is the series finale.
I'm taking anyone else they mention over Mike McCarthy. I want nothing to do with him. I think he's a guy that's just lucked into a lot of positions and has been around a lot of really good players and really doesn't really offer anything. He's done nothing in Dallas. He's done absolutely nothing in Dallas.
Yeah.
Fuck him. I don't want anything to do with him. That would be the Bearsiest move ever.
You need to start telling people how you really feel about stuff.
Hey, I'm not mad about it. I wouldn't be mad about it. I wouldn't freak out about any of these other guys. That one I would freak out about.
All right, my top two guys. My top two. One I fucking hate and one I fucking love.
I'm interested to see who you hate.
A lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I have my reasons.
All right.
Fuck Brian Flores, dude.
I forgot.
And he is probably top of the list between our next candidate to probably get the job. Dude, if anyone wants to Google it, YouTube, go out there, watch the interview sit down with Tua from
I've seen it.
the Dolphins, and he openly talks about what Brian Flores did to him, how he treated him as an up-and-coming young quarterback, how he was with teammates, how he was toxic towards the entire team. And dude, that's enough for me to hear that's the last fucking thing we need right now. So
Yeah.
now the problem with this though is this dude is former teammates with Ryan Poles, their buddy.
Yeah.
And he worked in Minnesota under who's our president? Kevin Warren. So he has ties to both Kevin Warren.
Is Trace
and
Armstrong his
Poles.
agent also?
If
Because then we're
Trace Armstrong,
screwed.
we're dead.
Yeah, he's
We're
got to be.
dead.
He's
We're
even money then to bet
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I think he's just a guy that's a good defensive coordinator. Not unlike Matt Eberflus
Sure,
and Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
He's just a guy meant to be a defensive coordinator, not to
Now,
be a head
if
coach.
they hired someone else as a head coach and hired him and convinced him to come here and be a defensive coordinator,
Sure, I'm fine with that.
I'm 100%
Yeah.
fine with that. But everything, dude, watching that Tua video, I was like, oh my God, we cannot have this on our team.
Yeah, and I know
You could tell Tua was being 100% honest and real and
plus
straightforward about it.
straight ahead defensive guy that almost has no interest in quarterback development. I remember the Tua video, and there was a lot of other things about this guy too. He checks off the screamy, yelly Barry guy. That's for damn
Yeah.
sure. He would all the meatballs would love him,
Oh, dude.
but every game would be 10-9.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Yeah, go ahead. I know who you're gonna say next, but
Everyone knows who we're going to say next because this is who fucking everyone wants because at the end of the day, it's the best. It's the right move. And that is fucking Ben Johnson from the Lions, dude. He has showed individuality in his play calling, his relationship with the players, growing players, his play calling in situations, the trick plays, dude. He's out there doing similar stuff to what Andy Reid is calling right now. And I don't say that lightly because I think Andy Reid's the god of play calling. But he is out there right now just calling plays in critical situations.
look what he's done for Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Jared Goff was just a throw-in on the
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford trade. They figured he's going to be a placeholder for a year.
Yeah.
Fucking guy's an MVP candidate.
Yeah. Dude, I put him right up there with the fucking Vikings head coach.
Kevin O'Connell, absolutely.
He's right up there, man, as this is the guy you want. Problem with Ben Johnson, as we all know, the Bears are cheap as fuck. And this guy wants like $20 million a year. And I think Andy Reid's making like $23 million a year.
Yeah, he's not going to get that. The other concern with Ben Johnson is I've read some. Now, granted, this is lying season, so
Sure.
everyone's getting
Oh, the offseason, it's all bullshit now.
that he might want to bring his own guy to be the front office guy.
See, and that's the rumor that Ryan Poles has his issue because they say if Ben Johnson comes to the team,
He's going to have more power.
he's
than
going to tell
Poles.
Poles to go fuck off. I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'll
or
do-
if they go 8-9, don't make the playoffs, Poles is fired immediately.
Yeah.
Whereas the other team I saw linked with Ben Johnson is the Jaguars, who I think, if it came down to it, would fire their GM to hire Ben Johnson, and Shad Khan's going to throw whatever kind of money he needs to out there at him. So I don't know if the Bears are the favorite to get him. Who knows if he even wants to come to the Bears with the dysfunction? I mean, anyone who saw that press conference today was another classic Bears press
the
conference.
rumor was last year he wanted to come to the Bears. The Bears are top of his list to come to.
Sure.
So, I mean, with that being said, has so much changed this year? I don't know. I mean, obviously this cleared house of our entire coaching staff. So
I would.
Ryan Poles still remains.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. To be honest with you, not to just go down everything that's negative, but I'm with you though.
Dude, Jason brings up a good point here. Remember when we all laughed when they were drafting Gibbs in the first round? Like, what are you doing? You already have a running back.
Yeah, I was one of them. I'll gladly
Yeah.
admit that was dude's been a stud.
And dude, now you have fucking Sonic and Knuckles, the number 1-2 punch in the entire NFL as running backs.
Yeah.
Heading into the playoffs. I mean,
The
I-
Lions have done it. It's amazing to say, thinking about the Lions of my entire youth up through my adulthood. The Lions have done it the right way. They stuck by their coach, who they had faith in. Their offensive coordinator didn't want to leave for head coaching job. Here's the other thing about Ben Johnson. I don't think he's going to leave unless the position is perfect for him.
Sure, of course.
He's going to make
I
the
would.
call. So even if, let's say the Bears say we'll give you $15 million a year, if he doesn't think the Bears are the position for him, he's not coming.
He's going to have demands, and he's probably not going to budge, and I totally agree with you on him.
100%. He's going to go somewhere where he's got a quarterback in place or the number one draft pick. Yeah.
He's intrigued to come here and develop Caleb Williams.
Who wouldn't be? What coach wouldn't be?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my favorite quotes this entire season is you have sportscasters, you have sports analysts, you have former players, you have coaches, you have former players, current players all saying that Caleb Williams is a generational talent. but the guy on Twitter told me he sucks.
100%.
I mean,
100%.
these guys know what they're talking about way more than we do.
Yes.
Despite what we see on the field, they know more. So
100%.
I think Caleb Williams is definitely the big fish that's drawing him here right now.
What wouldn't be? I mean, he didn't show anything that he's going to be a bite, and that wasn't Cade McNown out there this year. So any coach that's an up and coming or wants to be head coach, who wouldn't love to walk in?
We need a head coach with high demands, Andy. I totally agree with you.
That's the next worry. Are the
Yeah.
McCaskies inclined to have a guy like that wants to have more power? They seem to only want guys that look nice on the sideline and are nice guys and don't swear.
Yeah.
I mean, think about Matt Eberflus, Matt Nagy. Okay, John Fox. That's a complete out of
Mark
left
Trestman.
field. Mark Trestman. These weird left field, nice guy kind of guys. Lovey Smith. I mean, Lovey
Yeah.
Smith is not screamy, yelly. I'm sure he was, but I'm
Sure.
saying
Since
Ditka, they have not wanted anyone with that kind of power, and that's just the McCaskies.
When's the last time you won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean they made it to one with Lovey, sure, but
Yeah.
that's the next worry. Why didn't we go after Jim Harbaugh last year? That we've talked about this before. Do they just not want that kind of guy?
Dude, it basically came out that Kevin Warren and Jim Harbaugh do not get along whatsoever.
I don't give a fuck.
From Kevin Warren. Yeah. But again, it's personal relations.
No, I get it.
And we see that the Bears have made decisions on personal
So then, do you trust Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles to run this search?
Yeah.
Do you?
That's why it scares me about Brian Flores, dude. That guy's got some scratching on his back happening over there at Hallis Hall, and I don't like it whatsoever, man.
And we didn't mention one guy. What about Cliff Kingsbury? He's had head coaching experience. He's got a lot of connections to a lot of these guys too.
He wasn't on the interview list.
He wasn't. I was surprised by that too. But at the same time, he had a lot of not really things to say about his interview with the Bears because they interviewed him for offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He didn't seem very happy about it. So maybe that's part of the reason why.
Sure, no, of course. That's the only reason I didn't add him. Dude, I'd be happy with that too. Plus, they worked together, Caleb Williams and Kingsbury in the past.
Plus, I just read before I came here that they also asked to interview the Bills coordinator, Joe Brady.
Yeah.
So I like that they're not just zeroing in on the young, hot offensive guy.
Sure.
That's good, but I mean, do we need to do 15 interviews with guys we don't even know who the hell they are?
Don't you want to do numerous interviews of kind of like the same road kind of people to where like you're all over the fucking board.
It's everywhere. It's
types of coaches.
It reeks of scatterbrain.
Yeah.
Especially since you fired your coach 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like you should have been narrowed in on like these are the 5 guys we want to talk to. Like this first interview thing is like they can only do an hour and they have to do it on Zoom. So maybe this is just to get to know you, and that's fine.
Sure.
But like when we get to the stage where we're actually bringing the guys into interview, if we still have 10, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a serious problem. Because you're having 9 hour interviews then.
Well, dude, let's just put it this way, and they know this right now, and we know it, that whoever they hire, whatever our record is by week 6 next year, if it sucks, you're gone. You're done. Especially Ryan Poles. At least Ryan Poles at the minimum, dude. You're bringing in a bad coach right now?
It's such a just Bearsy thing to like, now we have a GM who only has 1 year left, and we're going to keep
Sure.
him, and we'll let him run the coaching search, but it goes bad. He's going to be fired. Then we got to hire another GM who may not like the coach.
Yeah.
It's just so Bearsy to just...
Sure.
I like Ryan Poles as a guy. I do. But what has he proved in his 3 years that he deserves to run another coaching search?
Yeah.
I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just asking you.
Sure, no. As far as the coaching goes, he doesn't deserve to make any decisions regarding coaching whatsoever.
None.
Because every single one you've made has been a complete failure.
A complete disaster.
Yeah, complete disaster.
You lucked into Thomas Brown being an offensive coordinator
Yeah.
for a couple of weeks. That's it.
Coaches and offensive linemen are his weakness as far as hiring and
Yes.
picking. Yeah.
Yes. So then, it's typical kind of Bearsy. We got some things in place, but not
Dude, we
others.
always talk about the Bears getting better, the Bears improving, the Bears becoming a winning team. And that all has to do with them doing things that they normally don't do or they traditionally haven't done. And that's why, in order to convince me that they're going to be doing something to make them a winning team, you better bring in fucking Ben Johnson, dude. You better bring in that high-paid, I'm coming in with my dick out. I'm running this bitch.
I agree with you.
Stay the fuck away from me. I know what I'm doing. Mine, because, dude, that's where the Bears are at as an organization right now. You're at the fucking bare minimum, dude. All your fans are fucking done with you. You're a laughingstock throughout the entire league. Anytime the Bears are brought up in any major telecast, dude, it's like a laughingstock about the entire organization. It's like, dude, you are the bottom minimum of the league, and you're the fucking founders of the NFL, and it sucks and it's embarrassing. So they need to fucking go out there and do what they need to do to win at this point, regardless of how they fucking feel about stuff. Because it's not about your fucking feelings, it's about a winning product on the field.
Amen. Yeah, and today's press conference didn't do anything to make me think that they're going to do anything different. Honestly.
Shaky George back and forth today.
It was just a lot of like processes, and we trust this, and we trust that, and today it should have just been, we haven't gotten it right, and we're going to do everything in our power to get it right, and we've sucked. Like that would have just made me feel so much better than like, well, Kevin Warren's going to run it, but Ryan Poles is, and we got this whole committee, but then we've got these vice presidents, and then George is going to have a say. And then Ian Cunningham might be here, and it's like this just reeks of Bears again.
Dude, I couldn't even believe like McCaskey went to the point to where he brought up season ticket holders selling their tickets.
Yeah,
like,
stunning.
Like that. That's like at the top of your concern list right now. Like he's like, oh, during the Detroit game,
Stunning.
we were overwhelmed by Detroit fans, and we couldn't even hear the snap count on third down because there were so many Lions fans there because so many Bears season ticket holders sold their tickets. What the fuck do you expect people to do with this?
I've got a
man?
stunning anecdote to that.
Go.
On the score 2 hours later, they had on, I forget the guy's name, who's the CEO of Circle Las Vegas.
Yeah.
He's a huge Lions fan. He was in Chicago for the Lions game. He stayed in a suite. Do you know whose suite he stayed in?
Whose?
George McCaskey, who sold him the suite. True story. 100% true story. Nobody believes me? Go look it up.
George McCaskey still has his fucking communion.
It was
money
about
for
4
him.
o'clock today on the score with Spiegel and Holmes. The guy said he bought the suite from George McCaskey. A Lions fan. He said he's bringing 50 Lions fans with him.
Oh my God!
But George is going to get on there and complain about Lions fans taking over Soldier
Well,
Field.
you can't hear him in the suites because there's glass at the
Fair enough, but still, you couldn't hear him anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I just thought that was unbelievable. After I heard two things. I heard George immediately. First thing he said was, "We want to thank Matt Eberflus."
Thank him for what?
Yeah, for fucking the whole team up, and you
Yeah.
fired him 2 months ago. You could have came out 2 months
Yeah.
ago and said that.
Thank him for what? For
And then he
7 wins in 3 years.
they asked him about the sell the team chance, and he's like, "Yeah, that disturbed me, but not as much as Lions fans taking over Soldier Field." Like,
Not as
what?
much Yeah, that didn't disturb me as much as Bears fans selling their tickets.
And there's
What?
the guy that's signing the checks and making calling some of the shots.
Fucking Mr. Scrooge with coins in his hand, dude.
Oh, it's such a God.
Well, the season's over, ladies and gentlemen, and
Thank Christ.
as much as we love doing the show and the podcast, and we appreciate you guys tuning in and everything, I'm not going to lie to you and say that I'm kind of not happy that we're taking a little break until next season right now. Been a couple rough seasons. This was not supposed to be one of them doing the podcast, but
No.
we still try to have fun, and we still appreciate you guys tuning in. So you guys are absolutely the best out there. We love tuning in. We love seeing the comments, all the likes, all the views. We see everything. So that means the absolute world to us. You guys are the absolute best. So we appreciate everyone tuning in this season. We'll be back next season with Big Balls Joe Rogan mics, talking nice and sexual to you into the mics, and
Hopefully about some better things.
some upgrades, some new plans for next year. So we have some ideas on board. So stick with us, and hopefully we have a decent team to talk about. The show will be back around the time of the draft when we start getting more serious about what we're doing in free agency, what we're going to be doing as far as draft picks, and what it sounds like we're leaning towards. So few months break here. We'll be back, though. Appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. Want to give a happy birthday shout out to my boy Alberto Valdez. Happy birthday, brother. CB4 ever, sir. Other than that, guys, appreciate you tuning in as always, and we'll be back shortly. Love you guys.
And thanks to you, Mike. You do a lot of work for this, and I get to just kind of hang out and not do anything other than talk and laugh. And I get to meet a lot of you guys I've met this year, and really cool people. And you do bust your ass doing this. So we hate that we have to talk about this bad team, but it is fun talking with you. So thanks for.
One day we're gonna be sitting there just talking about excellence, dude. It's bound to happen eventually.
Yeah, we might have canes, and we might be doing it from our nursing home, but we'll see.
It's bound to happen eventually. We're 1-0 in 2025.
Yep, you're ever the optimist, and I appreciate
We just beat
that.
the Packers for the first time in 6 years. We're off to a good start, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, you have a great offseason. Enjoy Wildcard Weekend, the playoffs. Be happy to sit back and watch how it all turns out. Other than that, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll end the show as always. Is bear down, baby.
Bears.
Thank you, and go Bears!
Bear down!
From Harrison and Wabash we rise till pulsating with excitement under the skies. The Foz is leading the way with Billy from the van, rapping jazz, dancing to the Chicago plan. Dancer and the Mendos is feeling the beat. Baby Bear and Mama Bear never defeat. Deaf, Bear, and also roaring loud, and the stereo lurking among the crowd. The Palace Tower, a symbol of might. Chicago handshake under the night. What is your profession? We ask. Legends of the game, a formidable task. Devin has to speed, behold. Mongo and Datum will never fold. Sweetness and Peter.